Hey everyone, Donny here again, Donny Ligonis, live broadcasting on LinkedIn and today also on YouTube and Facebook. And today I am visiting a super cool company that is just about to launch online. And we're in this rather secret place, so they had to let me in before I could start filming. So I thought I could start filming from the street, but you know, 2 secrets anyway. So really happy to be able to introduce you to this company called Invoier. Again, a very secret door here somewhere in Stockholm. Anyway, so here we go. Let's see if we can find Fredrik and Fredrik. Anyone here? Here we go.
Hello, Donny. Welcome to the Invoier family.
Hey, come in. What a surprise! Imagine that. Imagine. Who would have known that I was going to visit you today? So, Fredrik Mistander.
Yes.
You're the CEO of Invoier.
Yes.
And I see an old friend here as well. Another Fredrik. We have Fredrik Severin, who's in charge of business development.
Absolutely. Hello, Donny.
Sure. Good to be here. Happy to come and see. And what a beautiful office you have.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we start with just a very short walkthrough? Yeah. You can show me around the office. Okay, cool.
Please bear with us. We just moved in like 2 weeks ago, so this is, you know, the raw footage of what's happening in the startup world.
Okay, well, if you call this raw, then okay, sure. Anyway, it's a beautiful office here in Stockholm, downtown, the old city of Stockholm. So let's, where do we start? So this is the main sitting area, I guess, right? Just as we come in. Very nice, very nice. And then where to now? Should we, you straight away,
yeah,
okay?
Let's follow Severin into the corner room.
We'll follow Severin into the corner room.
So this is where the creativity is.
Wow, look at that. And we have a view as well. Beautiful, very nice, very nice. A conference room.
So anybody visiting us can come by boat.
Okay, but hang on. What's with all the skis here? So you're not a... What is that called? What's with all the skis, Fredrik?
I mean, all the founders have somewhat of a connection to the skiing or snowboarding world. So we're trying to do, you know, to put some kind of theme into the office based on skiing or the Alps or mountains or something that has to do with big mountain stuff. So we tried to put some ski gear.
So we have some skis here. Okay, we have more skis there. Okay, so conference room, but this is a big office.
It's a big one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really sort of feel like the tiny startup place, but it's
well, we call it good negotiation.
Yeah, let's put it down to good negotiations. Let's do that. Okay, so this is.
So this is the stairway to heaven.
Okay, I won't ask what's up there. Okay, and here's
the production.
Here's the production. Oh, here's another person. Hello, person. What's your name?
My name is Ambra.
Oh, nice to meet you. What do you do at Invoier?
I am responsible for culture and marketing and HR.
Okay, cool, cool. Oh, more people. Look at this.
More people and more rooms.
And more rooms. Here's the tech area, and there's more skis as well. Hi. So this is
Daniel. Hi, I work as a CTO at Invoier.
CTO at Invoier, cool. Yeah. And you have your own set of skis as well. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice place. Cool, thank you very much. Nice to meet you, Daniel. And then and then here. So, look, this dynamic meeting in progress. What a surprise. So, who do we have here?
My name is Julius. Hi.
Hi, Julius. And what do you do at Invoier?
I am the chief product owner.
You own the product. So he's the guy to know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And this is
Patrick.
Patrick.
And I'm chief commercial officer.
Okay, very nice to meet you guys. I'll be out here interviewing your CEO. You can go online, by the way, and you can comment if he says the wrong thing. So
absolutely.
Okay, cool. That's it. Let's move back into the main area and get some insights on this company, which, of course, as all of the companies that I interview, is super cool and extremely awesome in everything they do.
One funny thing to mention,
yes,
about all of these rooms is that we're trying to avoid that people have fixed places.
Okay.
So instead, we have themes in different rooms: creativity room, and production room, and silent room.
Okay. Let me put this here. And let's move over to a more comfortable area over here. So please have a seat. And now we can really sort of start. I'm so happy that we can do the first walkthrough here. Anybody, I'm still online or see me? Guys, let's not get caught up in the wire. Oops. Sorry about that, internet. I was having you live. My shoelace got stuck in the wire. Well, that's the beauty of live, right? Anyway, so Invoier. What is Invoier? What does Invoier do?
I mean, today, small, medium-sized companies are paying usually way too much for short-term funding. Usually, if you have a long collaboration with your bank, it's easy to get funding.
But I used to put your name on here. There you go.
All right.
Yes.
Usually, it's rather easy to get funding if you have a long relationship with your bank and so on. Then you can get a loan or a credit or check credit or whatever. But if you're not one of those companies, you always struggle to find your liquidity. So what we have done is we have established the first marketplace for invoice trading, meaning,
yes, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Meaning that we're connecting buyers and sellers of invoices and not the original buyers of invoices like traditional finance companies and so on. Instead, we are instrumentalizing invoices into two tradable assets which can be connected.
That's too complicated. So, okay, so what I'm hearing is that you allow small companies to sell their invoices, right, so they can increase the liquidity, right?
Yep.
Free up money. Exactly. But as you know, as an outsider looking in,
yep,
selling invoices, factoring, that is already something that's already out there. I mean, I know there in Sweden there's a number of companies like Svein and others, doing that. You can, as a small company, you can sign up and then you can, sell your invoices. So what does Invoier do that is different from that?
Factoring is already a huge business today. More than 100,000 companies are financing and getting liquidity by selling their invoice, like you say, factoring, classic factoring. But today, the cost that you're paying to sell your invoice is very, very high. You're paying an interest rate equals 20 to 50%.
So it's expensive for me to sell an invoice.
It's super expensive.
Standing up, sitting down. So it's expensive to sell an invoice. That's one thing.
It's expensive, and it's a really, really classic market, old style. It's rather manual to actually sell an invoice today.
Okay.
So what we're doing is, one, digitalizing the journey of selling your invoice. And two, we are enabling another type of investor who is actually buying your invoice. So you don't have to pay 20 to 50%.
So it's both sides.
Basically, what we're doing is creating a marketplace, a meeting place where buyers and sellers.
So you're saying, look, here's an invoice. Who wants to buy this?
Exactly.
And on the other side, somebody says, I'll buy that.
Exactly right. And that invoice could be originating from any country. You're not supposed to look at who is originating it.
Go on. I'm going to put his name on the screen as well.
It's a global market that we're creating on something that is already existing. Factory.
You can still see Fredrik.
So basically, by the end of the day, what we're trying to achieve is better conditions for particularly small and medium companies to access capital.
Yep.
And also give the opportunity to investors to access a market that has been absolutely closed to banks and specialized.
I mean, as a small business owner, previously I have some experience with selling an invoice, because the example was me as a consultant doing a job for a very, very big Swedish company, and they were sending me, I could send a bill with like 180 days
payment terms,
which for me, then I'm the bank for that. Yeah. And I need my money for my salary next month. So then I was I can sell the invoice. Perfect. So then I went to one of the traditional, and I had to sign up for like a 12-month subscription. Yeah. And it was, I couldn't really compare the different actors out there. I couldn't really see which percentage who. It was like this, very sort of, not shady, but very close.
Did you know if you got a good deal or not?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point.
So you're opening it up and you're actually making it much more visible for anybody who wants to sell invoice.
Yeah. We like to say transparent market.
Okay. Thank you. That's it. Good. And the reason I am here also is not only because you are actually creating a really cool thing and you're more or less, well, I'd say, I mean, not many other actors as yourselves out there today. There is actually a special reason for why we're here today, and that is how all of this started. Because you are actually an alumni from KTH Innovation.
Thank you so much.
Where I also spend my days meeting students and researchers. And Fredrik on this side of me is one part of the start of this whole adventure. And as the story goes, it's actually a really, really interesting story. As the story goes, there was a student. No, there is a student at KTH.
He's alumni.
He's an alumni now, yeah. But then he was a student. And he contacted me about a couple of ideas, and we had a chat. And then he just wanted to meet me one more time. So I said, yeah, man, sure. Let's have a cup of coffee. I'll take it on my way home from work. We met in Odenplan, close to where I live. We sat there, had a cup of coffee because he was working spare time as well. So it was after his working hours. And he had this idea, and he wasn't really sure about it, but he still felt, I have this idea. I cannot see anyone else doing it, so maybe it's a good idea. And that's the thing is, when you come up with an idea that you don't see anybody else doing, it's either an incredible idea or it's the most stupid idea ever, because there's usually a reason why nobody is doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. So anyway, as always, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said, you know what? Let's not me or you decide if this idea is good or bad. Let somebody else, like the market, decide if this is good or bad. So into KTH innovation process, and then we started, putting together the business case. And what we do then in the beginning is that we do market validation. So then we take in external consultants to do an early stage market validation. And by chance, the consultant that took this gig was this guy, Fredrik Severin. He was actually the first consultant in on this case to do the first market validation. And I remember very clearly, it was a couple of years ago now, but I remember very clearly Fredrik coming back from his first sort of round of interviews and meeting people and coming back and saying, you know what? This is actually a really good idea. And then of course we could say the rest is.
Was he skeptic in the beginning? Did he actually challenge you and say, I'm not sure?
I think that Fredrik has, in all, because we've been using him in other cases as well. I think he always has a very healthy sense of not either skeptical or positive, but a very, very sort of neutral approach to, okay, let's see what this, how it works. But let's ask him.
Yeah.
Well, what was your experience from this?
Well, first thing, when people talk about factoring, how cool is factoring? Factoring is probably not a pickup line anywhere.
You mean it doesn't work for you guys?
But you know what? I like that because that's an area where it's not crowded for different reasons. But exactly as you said, I started looking at this and I didn't know too much about factoring as such. But I have a great network and I started talking to people. And I realized very quickly that companies, small and medium companies, entrepreneurs have difficulties to get access to working capital.
Yeah,
especially companies that are growing scale. So that was the first conclusion. Really, really obvious. This market is not perfect in any sense, and the companies are looking for capital. They always feel small and the underdog in a negotiation. And then I flipped the coin and started talking to investors, and I realized pension funds, treasury departments, people that are sitting on money, they'd love to come into this asset class as such. Because where do they create any returns nowadays? It's a zero or minus on the bank account, unless you lock up the capital in 5, 10, 15, 30 years in real estate. This was exactly what I was looking for. It's a perfect match. So there we go. So then we started to see, how do we actually create this? And the next step was how could we do this accessible for people that didn't know anything about factoring?
Yeah,
and that's where the cool technology is coming in. And Fredrik can tell you.
And just to add on to that as well, and just add another, or just take away one of the minds here. Actually, that's one of the other key parts of this. As we're building this startup, we have a first idea, with the founder, Marcus, who also was the first technical person in the case. We did first early stage market validation, and we got qualified people to say what they thought about it. And then we also said, okay, but who is going to lead and build it? We need a driven entrepreneur that with experience that can build something that can quickly reach, the level and the feel of what we can. And that's also how this guy came into it. And how about how did we get in touch with you? What was the first impression you had when you sort of met the case?
The first interaction was actually with Fredrik, who called me up and said, "Hey, I got an interesting case for you to look into." And those types of calls you get from time to time. People are calling you and asking either for an investment or being part of a journey or whatever. So I started listening to that. He said, "Hey, I know a friend of yours, and I have this idea. Let's meet and talk about it." And he said, and of course I said, "What? Give me the short pitch. What is it about?" And he said, "Factoring." And I thought, yes, factoring. Isn't that for construction companies that are on the way to bankruptcy, or what is this? But he's got a pretty good rumor out there. So I said, okay, let's have that lunch anyways. And he can tell me a little bit more about it. And I quickly understood that, yes, that the base of this idea is amazing. Let's start building on top of this together. So,
but you are also a seasoned, I will call you a seasoned entrepreneur with a number of successes behind yourselves. You've done this a couple of times before. It wasn't like a first time thing for you. It's interesting. But as I said, it's interesting to see. I think there's this quote out there. I think it was the founder of Twitter who said, you work your butt off for 10 years, day and night, and then one day you're considered to be an overnight success. And people underestimate the time and the effort, and also everything. Building everything together. It takes the connections and the time. And first we did this, and now we did this. And then you've gone through a number of also financing. You got some really good financing from the EU, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The first good investor for us was actually KTH. Was the first investor. Then we
KTH Holding.
KTH Holding, and then we got one angel investor in the beginning, just to set up the basis of the company and the structure to move to the next phase. After that, we got EU to actually fund us and really help us to make this available and scale out.
See how nicely and modestly said we got the EU to fund us. That wasn't an overnight thing.
That was hard work. That was hard work. Absolutely hard work, and quite nervous as well. And when you decide to put in that amount of effort, you always risk to take away some focus from the business as well. So it took us 2 attempts. And we were invited to Brussels, and I can tell you this.
So you went to Brussels as well?
We went to Brussels and made a 10-minute pitch. That was basically, it was very digital. Either you got the money or you didn't.
It was just like,
It was.
And how long from when you said, let's start working on this until they said, here's the funding? How long, calendar time was that?
Basically, I think it was close to 9 months.
9 months.
In calendar time.
Yeah. But since I was following from the sidelines, I know it was also not only 9 months waiting time, it was 9 months of hard work. And that's another thing I want to stress, the amount of effort you put into financing, no matter if it's a grant financing or if it's angel investor or VC financing, it takes time and effort. Can I ask you how much you got from the EU? Is that official money? Is that official numbers, or should we keep that under wraps now?
Not official numbers, but we're talking rather much.
It was a substantial amount. Okay, but congratulations to that anyway. So well done, because as I said, I know the time and effort it took to get to that point. So what happens now? Where are we now? What's going on with Invoier? Where are you, timeline-wise, and what's happening?
As with all startup companies, the first thing you do is try to make some kind of proof of concept, validate your product, and build something that is not too complicated in the beginning. That's what we did before we got the funding from EU to take it to the next step. Now we're actually taking the rather proof of concept into something real that we can start scaling out and take country by country in Europe to really expand to. So that means that we're building the team now, really hiring the people, putting the right people in the team, but also taking all of those steps that are necessary to really validate, build. As we have a buyer and seller side, we need to balance the sides as we grow as well.
But you've been getting sort of good news as you're building, right? Because you've been validating towards both sides all the way. I remember you had some really successes with the like bigger corporations as well early on, where they were very positive.
Absolutely. Much thanks to KTH and the network around KTH, as a matter of fact. And we are going to launch officially in next year, 2021.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we are already trying the business model, doing the business, making sure that everything, we get the ducks in a row. So basically, exactly what Fredrik said, building the team, validating the business all the time. And we have Sweden, one other Nordic country, and probably Poland in line for next year.
That's exciting stuff.
It is exciting.
So, but when will I be able to, me as a small business owner, when will I be able to like go online and find, and some of my, is checking the comments here as well, coming as well. Christian Callet says hi to Fredrik, Severin. Annika, thank you very much. Annika, very interesting and inspiring. Thank you very much, Annika. Keep the comments going. And we have another couple of minutes left, so if you have any questions, just pop them out there. Or keep commenting on the film afterwards. The team will go in and answer more comments. Otherwise, oh yes, of course, the web address. I will have to add the address here. Invoier.com, right?
Yes.
Correct. So that's something people can see that now. So when will I, as a small business owner, be able to go online to Invoier.com and say, here's my invoice, somebody buy it?
You can actually do it today, but it's not the user journey that we're creating right now. So you can do it today, but we're releasing something that is totally, changing the way how you are interacting with your money management. And that's something that we're releasing in K.
I mean, I'm thrilled to have been a small part of something that hopefully can become a really, I'm going to use the word, disruptive.
No, exactly.
Disruptive.
We try to avoid that word as well.
Well, okay, but I said it, it's out there. A disruptive power in a very sort of, I won't call it stagnate, but it's like a very set
and a protective environment.
Yes, and I'm thrilled to see your continued successes. I'm for the viewers out there, when it comes to all of these live clips and all of the movie clips, the film clips, there's always a lesson to be learned. And the first lesson in this one is me sitting down with Marcus and him having an idea. And the thing is, if you have an idea that you don't see anywhere else, it's like it's either it's the best idea ever, or it's or there's a reason that you're not seeing the idea. But you cannot make your own mind up which of those two it is. So you need to start speaking to people. In our case, we managed to it's in a series of good fortunes here, but we managed to find the right person to talk to, who had a network of good people to talk to, who then came back and we said, you know what? Now we've asked the right people some of the right questions, and we know that the idea as such is a good one.
And that's interesting because the conclusions we made in the first month are still the basis for this company.
Yeah. And then we come to the next stage is, okay, the idea as such is good. And then what? Then we need to execute. And then you also need to find the people to execute, which we also had the good fortune of finding. So, I don't think people, again, it sounds so easy when you see something succeeding. But in this case, I think we've managed to put some really good pieces of the puzzle together. It's not finished and done, and we're still work in progress, and we're still moving forward. Everybody else out there, please go into the website and start using it more next year and whatever. But I think we're on the road to something really, really exciting, and I'm really happy that you let me come here today and to share the journey so far. Maybe we could do a repeat interview next year and see how things are going. If there's anything else you want me to ask or anything else you want to say, do you want to say hi to anyone out there? Or
Thank you very much, Donny, for actually enabling us in the beginning and following us on this journey to make this happen. So again, thank you very much for not for just you coming here, but for the whole trip and the whole journey so far.
Thank you, Fredrik. But it's again, thank you for saying so. I appreciate it. My big pleasure. It's this. I mean, this is what's happening here today is what makes it all worth it.
And also to any viewer, if any viewer would be interested in getting in touch with us, we would love to do that. Whether it's about scaling company, getting finance from EU, or funding any invoices,
yeah,
just call us.
Being part of the team as well.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there's an ocean of experience and knowledge here. So get in touch with everybody. For that, thank you everyone out there for today. This is Donny here signing off. Wednesday live every week, 2:30 Swedish time. I'll see you next week. For now, we thank Fredrik and Fredrik of Invoier. Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody.